Okay, so we're not allowed to swear.
We're not allowed to swear.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Can we swear? Oh,
We can use F words.
I'll just
you'll
read it
bleep us out.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 So do you want us to actually introduce ourselves and then start talking trash?
Trash.
Okay.
Nice.
So, hello, my name is Liz and I teach IELTS and other things in London.
Hi, I'm Heather, teaching IELTS in Gangnam.
So why are you guys here for? What are you guys going to do?
Well, we're going to
Criticize mock tests.
criticise the hell out of them.
Yeah. So shall we play the video then?
Yes, let's watch it.
My name is Ha Yun Kwan.
Could you spell that for me, please?
HAYUN and KWON.
Great, she can spell
Yeah.
her name.
Okay,
Good.
very good.
Solid start.
And do you like your name?
Everyone can spell their names.
Yes, because I think it is
boyfriend
easy
can't.
to
Oh, really?
pronounce it. So yeah, I love my name. Yeah.
Very good. And are you working or are you a student at the moment?
I'm a student because I applied for my master's degree and then I got an offer, so I have to study hard English to get a high score in IELTS test.
Okay.
High
In
school.
the
And
IELTS
what is the
test.
master's in?
Definite article, darling.
Master's in
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Which field?
Which field? Okay. I'm going to study management.
Management
And
too.
I want to specialize
English, right? Yeah.
human research and marketing because I think it is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, interested.
And what do you do when you have some free time?
I'm kind of active person, so
she's
I like
kind of,
doing
yeah.
sports such
doesn't like
as
articles, does she?
wakeboarding,
Never used
and
it.
snowboarding. And otherwise, I take a stroll with my
I know
mom
they're little words,
because
but they are kind of important.
She loves it.
Okay, very good. And now we're going to talk about your hometown. So could you tell me the name of your hometown, please?
Okay. I lived in Gimpo, which
Live in
is
Gimpo.
located in the outskirts of Seoul. It takes only 30 minutes from the
what tense
capital
was she trying
city.
to use there?
And,
She's supposed to use present
is very
tense, but
cheap.
she's
Simple.
using like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you dislike about
That's
your
what
hometown?
students always do.
Actually,
Making mistakes on
as
tests.
I said
Oh, yeah.
previously,
definitely.
my city is
But I think the best
located in
advice
the
would be that, you
outskirts
know,
of
reflect
Seoul.
the
Yeah.
tense of the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day
Everyone
I
has
have
to remember they have to use the right
struggle
tense
with
in the
traffic.
exam.
Oh, please.
So
Please,
I think
please.
that this is the
Bear in
main
mind,
thing
everyone,
that I
bear in
use.
mind.
If the
very
interviewer
good, very
asks
good.
you a question in the present simple, answer in the
what
present
kind
simple.
Exactly,
of,
don't change the bloody
facilities
tense.
are there in your hometown?
Yeah, of course, there are many facilities such as
Facility.
cinema,
Facility.
hospitals,
Facilities, yes.
Yeah.
and
Practice your
supermarkets and so on. And also these days I like going to cafe because it
that
is
was
good to
English.
concentrate
Yeah.
on my study.
To coffee shops.
Very
They're
good, very
called
good.
coffee shops.
So now we're
I
going to
just
talk
want to
about
underline
public
that. Not
holidays.
cafe.
So
Coffee shops.
how
Coffee
many
shops.
public holidays are there in your country?
Okay, I'm not sure, but I think there are around 30 days per year in Korea. The big
30 days per year.
there are
they're
two
talking
big
about public
ones.
holiday.
Yeah.
Korean
sounds like too
Thanksgiving
many.
Day and
For
New Year's
salaryman
Day.
culture.
I don't think there will be
And do
like
you think
30
people
days.
need
Why
more
don't I get
public
any
holidays?
holiday if there are 30 days?
I don't think
You get
so because
Chuseok, don't you?
I lived in Germany for 10 years and I felt that in Korea there are enough public holidays, but the people don't
I wouldn't
have
agree.
many paid holidays. So I think they don't need
paid
to
holiday.
Paid holiday.
extend the public holidays.
Okay, good. And which holiday is your favorite?
Yes,
She's
my
thinking
favorite
about it.
one is
They're getting happier.
Korean Thanksgiving Day. Because
She's going to explain it all.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm foodie, So I like eating many food.
I didn't get that word.
And my mother always want to teach me
Oh,
how
I'm
to
a
cook
foodie.
Yeah,
various foods,
foodie.
So I enjoy it a lot.
Foodie. Again, article.
Article.
Very good, very good. Okay,
Article
so that will do us for the first part of the test. So now let's move on to part 2.
Yes.
Oh, hey, long turn time.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you this question and a pen. Okay. So yeah, you now have
I hate
1
that
minute
moment
to
in-
read the question, and you
the
can
real
take down
exam.
some notes on the paper too. So you can begin. Okay, again, that is 1 minute for the note taking. Okay, so could you describe a foreign celebrity that you would like to meet?
Ooh, foreign celebrity.
Since I was 13, I have dreamed of being a politician in Korea. So today I'm going
she
to
answering
talk
the
about
Yeah, she is kind of.
President of the U.S. As you might know,
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama is the former
Foreign
president
celebrity.
of
Wow.
the U.S.
Bold.
And
She
once
went
about
like
choice.
intellectual
5
there.
years ago,
I have to respect
I
that choice.
attended his
Yeah, I wouldn't
speech,
choose him.
and it was really
I would
informative.
choose something like more
At the
handsome.
time, he explained about
I would choose
his
Cillian Murphy.
exactly,
Blinders.
and he
I
really
knew
very
you would say
charismatic.
that.
For example,
And he's foreign to me because he's Irish.
how
so.
could he
Didn't know that.
reduce
Accent, he's Irish
unemployment rates after a financial crisis in the U.S.? How could he
She's like
finish
highlighting the pronunciation.
word
U.S.
in
Yeah.
Iraq?
So stress.
Yeah.
As
the
well
word
as
stress
that,
is
he
incorrect.
Funny.
he improves the health welfare of the U.S. So
US.
it was really impressive.
U.S.
And moreover, as I said previously,
Moreover.
Okay, Can we just stop for a second there?
Okay.
Moreover. Okay, I have a big problem with this word in part 2, speaking.
I hate that word.
It's not very natural. No one says that when they're speaking. I mean, maybe the president in his State of the Union address might stick in a moreover. But thinking about register, I mean, that's just not correct register to use. You need to use something more informal. There's nothing wrong with saying and.
Or also whatever.
It sounds much more natural because moreover is too high register, it's too formal for this
Too
situation.
formal, yeah. I would say I wouldn't use it in the speaking test. Never.
No.
Okay, let's play it again.
Yeah.
And in my
told her
opinion,
actually-
he's the
I actually
most
told her, like, don't use it for
successful
30 times.
politician who I have
She's clearly been listening to you.
Never.
And that's why I want to meet him in the future. And I looked up to him a lot.
Oh, she's mixing tenses again
now,
as
yeah.
well, yeah.
For this question, she could just use present tense.
Well, they'd said she started off talking about the past, which was
Yeah.
good, but then she talked about like meeting him in
When
the
I-
future, and then
when
I looked
I-
up
Oh, yeah,
to him
in
a
that
lot.
case,
So-
she has to
in
use
his
the future
speech,
tense.
He
I mean, if I,
explained
like-
also about his private life, and okay.
She's shivering.
Thank you. Okay, so
She's
that is your 2 minutes
nervous.
up. Very good. Perfect.
I think.
So
Okay,
what
I'm going
was
to pause
the
it for a
speech?
second there. Just because I think, I mean, if I was asked that question, like talk about a foreign celebrity that's important to you, that's essentially the question. I think, you know, the important thing in the speaking test is to show that you have a really wide range of vocabulary and that you have a wide range of grammar at your disposal. You can use cohesive devices that are appropriate to the situation.
No moreovers.
It's a really easy way to use like past, present and future. I can see what she was trying to do there and that she was trying to talk about, you know, when she was a child, she thought like this, and then currently she feels like that, and then
in the future she wants to meet him.
but I wouldn't do it. I would paragraph that, you know. In my notes, I would start off by talking about the past, then I'd move into the present, and then I'd finish on the future, just because it's more logical.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you'll minimize the chances of you mixing your tenses, because you know, okay, at first I'm going to talk about the past, then I'll talk about now, then I'll talk about the future. It just makes a bit more sense.
Well, it's really important to have a logic in speaking answers. So everyone has to design their answers beforehand.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Very important.
planning is just so important, and so many students fall into that trap of not planning and just going ahead and speaking. But
They actually do that in the writing too.
I know.
Please.
I actually refuse to let my students start writing until I've physically seen a plan.
Yeah.
And there's
I
no
always
way
do
they'll
that
do
too,
it for
yeah.
homework, so always in class. But that would have been, I would have said that would have been a better way for her to structure her argument, and then she would have been able to create a more natural flow, because it wasn't very natural. She was going in and out, and I feel like I can't see her notes, but if I could see them, I think they would probably be quite disorganised. Which is a shame, because she has good ideas.
She has good ideas.
It was about just his achievements when he was the former president of the U.S. And yeah, he explained a lot of things. How could he achieve many things when he was the president?
There's a bit of repetition there as well.
Right, so let's move on to the third part of the test now. Okay. Okay.
Most difficult part
in keeping
speaking.
with the topic of famous people, so how can people become famous these days?
I think there are
Born rich and famous, you'll be
these days
famous.
there are various ways to be famous. For example, many children want to be YouTube star.
She's talking about
YouTube star.
On the streets in Korea, there are many people to do their own concert.
concert.
And also many people, if someone have talents in dance or singing, then it is easy to be famous, I think.
Okay, but she used a first conditional.
And
Respect.
what do you think are some of the disadvantages of being a famous person?
I think the famous people lack of their privacy. For
Famous people,
example,
plural, no
even though they just want to have a
Did you use
dinner
article?
or lunch in a
famous
restaurant, many people might want to take picture of them together, so they can enjoy their normal life. And yeah, I think this is the biggest disadvantages of being famous.
Biggest disadvantage.
And do you think
Yeah, I
famous
think she's
people
clutching at
have
straws there a little bit.
responsibility to be friendly to their fans?
Good question.
Yes, of course, because it is obvious that the fans
I wouldn't say it is obvious that. I would say obviously.
love this famous person, and also so that's why they can make profits and they can be famous.
Keep.
And even though they just make small mistakes on televisions or some public places, if a famous person has a lot of fans,
Good self-correction.
then I think it is hard to be disliked by many people, I think.
Yeah, I'm quite confused by her
Yeah,
answer
very
here.
good, very good. And what influences can famous people have on
Influences.
society?
I love that question.
Society. Yeah, well, these days, the governments want to
Government.
advertise doing
Government.
Government.
election
What did she say?
Erection.
by
She meant
advertising
Erection.
the
Not
famous people.
sexual.
For example, in the US, I heard that
Everyone
one
has to
famous singer,
pronounce
I
L
can't remember
and R
his
properly.
name exactly.
Red lorry,
but,
yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry.
without
Practice it.
Practice it, please.
election, it was really raw.
She got that
but
one
the US use publicizes this problem by using a famous singer. So I think it is the positive influence in the society.
In the society. Okay.
And how do you
articles with
think
abstract
celebrities influence teenagers?
Teenager. Yes. I think youngsters always
synonym.
want to follow them. So if they do like commits criminal, then
Criminals.
it
Commits
is
criminal.
there are
Commits
many
criminals.
high
Criminals who
possibility to mimic
Yeah.
children to follow their behavior. So
I think she's.
I think she's tired.
yeah, I think it
she's
depends
making
on
some
the
mistakes.
behavior of the famous people.
Okay, good.
I didn't
And
get that answer
why
quite
can
right.
some celebrities stay famous for a really long time and others don't?
One-hit wonders.
When it comes to the famous singer or actor for a long time, I think they keep their activities or their I think they always try to show their talents to the publics. And also,
To the public.
these days, many famous people donate to society.
Give back. Give back.
So
Phrasal
that's why
verbs.
they can be famous for a long time. When it comes to the other people who are not famous, maybe they commit
She likes the word
criminal
commit.
such as taking
Yeah.
drugs and so on. So that's why they cannot be famous or popular for a long time.
Okay.
Finding it hard to follow the logic there.
All right. That's the end of the test. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what was your general impression there?
Well, she's generally fluent throughout the test, and she's making some good sentences with good range of vocabulary, but making quite rather a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And making mistakes on tenses and everything, articles. I never told you to do that!
This is what we're like in the staff room. Okay, this is like a secret, teacher secret.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, why don't they listen to us? They never listen to us.
But anyway, she got 7. Ben scored
Which,
7
you know, is a
twice.
very, very respectable score in the IELTS exam. But I think I'd have to agree that, you know, she's obviously a fluent speaker of English. She's very capable. But I think she could have showed a lot more. I think she could have pushed her score up at least half a band without much difficulty, simply by having a more structured response. In part 2 and definitely in part 3, because I think in part 3 is where maybe she got tired or maybe she was just, you know, she'd had enough. But I think, you know, in terms of grammar, she showed some variety, but she could have quite easily shown a bit more. I mean, it was great to see her using some conditional structures. That was really nice. It was nice to see students using these structures in the real world without the teacher kind of forcing the context onto them. But, you know, making really complex sentences, she could have made a few more complex sentences, maybe chucked in a few modals, that would have been good. A few more, you know, I didn't really hear much present perfect. It would have been nice to have, present perfect is very important in English and we use it quite a lot. So that would have been really good. In terms of accent, I think generally it was fine. You know, it's fine to have an accent, that's no problem. Mostly understandable, but there were instances where I couldn't understand her, and
there are some mistakes on pronunciation.
The stress, and when the stress makes it, you know, accent is fine. It's okay to use different stress, but when it gets to the point where it's not understandable for the examiner or for someone else like us, you will. So practice your pronunciation.
Oh, please, don't get penalised.
Yeah. I mean, and just expanding the vocab in general. I think there was, you know, there could have been a few more interesting words that she could have put into that, and that would have pushed her up maybe to band 8. All right. Well, it's a pleasure criticising with you.
All right, that's
We
a
have
cut.
another one.
Woohoo!